Hey everyone, welcome to Healthy Focus with Mrs. Bolokis. Do you recycle? Do you really? Have you thought about what could happen if you don't recycle? What could happen to our earth? Have you noticed what our earth has been like in response to the quarantine lately? Has anybody noticed that there seemed to be more wildlife? That there seems to be a little bit clearer and cleaner air. So our story today is called One Plastic Bag by Isatu Sise and the Recycling Women of the Gambia. Miranda Paul, illustrations by Elizabeth Zunan. One Plastic Bag. This takes place in Jau, Gambia. Isatu walks with her chin frozen. Fat raindrops pelt her bare arms. Her face hides in the shadow of a palm leaf basket, and her neck stings with every step. Warm scents of burning wood and bubbling peanut stew drift past. Her village is close now. She lifts her nose to catch the smell. The basket tips. One fruit tumbles, then two, then 10. The basket breaks. Isatu kicks the dirt. Something silky dances past her eyes, softening her anger. It moves like a flag flapping in the wind and settles under a tamarind tree. Isatu slides the strange fabric through her fingers and discovers it can carry things inside. She gathers her fruit in the bag. The basket is useless now. She drops it, knowing it will crumble and mix back in with the dirt. 4 goats greet Isatu as Grandmother Bombay emerges from her kitchen hut. Hurry in before the rain soaks your beautiful boomba. That is what she's wearing, that long dress called a boomba. Isatu scurries in and Grandmother serves spicy rice and fish. Rain drums on the creaking aluminum roof. I broke your basket, Isatu confesses, but I found this. Plastic. Grandmother frowns. There's more in the city. Day after day, Isatu watches neighbors tote their things in bright blue or black plastic bags. Children slurp water and wanjo from tiny holes poked in clear bags. Market trays filled with minties wrapped in rainbows of plastic. The colors are beautiful, she thinks. She swings her bag high. The handle breaks. 1 paper escapes, then 2, then 10. Isatu shakes sand off her papers. Another plastic bag floats by, and she tucks her things inside. The torn bag is useless now. She drops it to the dirt, as everyone does. There's nowhere else to put it. Day after day, the bag she dropped is still there. 1 plastic bag becomes 2, then 10, then 100. Plastic isn't beautiful anymore, she thinks. Her feet step down a cleaner path and her thoughts float away. Years pass and Isatu grows into a woman. She barely notices the ugliness growing around her until the ugliness finds its way to her. Isatu hears a goat crying and hurries towards Grandmother's house. Why is it tied up? Where are the other goats? Inside, the butcher is speaking in a low voice. Many goats have been eating these, he says. The bags twist around their insides and the animals cannot survive. Now 3 of your goats and so many other goats in the village have died. Grandmother Bombay's powerful shoulders sag. Isatu must be strong and do something. But what? Isatu's feet lead her to the old ugly road. A pile of garbage stands as wide as Grandmother's cooking hut. Mosquitoes swarm near dirty pools of water alongside the pile. Smoke from burning plastic stings her nose. Her feet back away. Goats scamper past. They forage through the trash for food. Her feet stop. She knows too much to ignore it now. Holding her breath, she plucks 1 plastic bag from the pile. Then 2. then 10, then 100. What can we do? Asatu asks her friends. Let's wash them, says Fatim, pulling out Omo soap. Maram grabs a bucket and Incha fetches water from the well. Peggy finds clothespins and they clip the washed bags on the line. As the bags dry, Asatu watches her sister crochet. Can you teach me? Well, yes. Her sister shows Asatu the stitches and hands her a metal tool. Satu's fingers busy themselves. In, out, around. Jerry Jeff. Thank you. Asatu finds a broomstick and carves her own tool from its wood. What's that for? Fatim asks. Asatu pauses. She and Peggy have an idea, but will their friends think it's crazy? Will the idea even work? Nervously, she explains the plan. One friend agrees to help, then 2, then 5. The woman cut bags into strips and roll them into spools of plastic thread. Before long, they teach themselves how to crochet with this plastic thread. Nakalagi bi, asks grandmother. How is the work? Danka, danka, answers Asatu, slow. Some people in the village laugh at us. Others call us dirty. But I believe what we are doing is good. The women crochet by candlelight, away from those who mock them. Until the morning comes when they will no longer work in secret. Fingers sore and blistered, Asatu hauls the recycled purses into the city. One person laughs at her, then 2, then 10. Then one woman lays delasai coins on the table. She chooses a purse and shows it to one friend, then 2, then 10, and soon everybody wants one. Asatu fills her own purse with the dahasi. She zips it shut and rides home to tell grandmother she has made enough to buy a new goat. When she passes by the pile of rubbish, she smiles because it is smaller now. She tells herself one day it will be gone and my home will be beautiful. And one day, it was. So this story is based upon a true story that takes place in the continent of Africa. Gambia, which is in West Africa. So this was less than 20 years ago, but it took one person to start making a change to clean up what was becoming a very large problem. And we have a big problem. If you're clicking on the other videos and watching, you might notice that we talk about how much plastic is in the world. One plastic bag, and you begin to make something beautiful out of it. I have a challenge for you. What items do you have around your house that you could repurpose into something else? I'll give you an example. Maybe your family has opened a can and used it maybe for spaghetti sauce. Cleaned it out. Maybe it's something that you can keep pens and pencils in. Maybe you want to paint on it. Make it pretty, make it part of a decoration. Maybe you could make it into an instrument. This is something that oats came in, like oatmeal. This was a vitamin bottle. This had nuts in it. I use one of these to keep money in, like a bank. things that lotions maybe came in, or peanut butter. And of course, we have paper towel and toilet paper rolls. Maybe you've got boxes that maybe your food or snacks has come inside of. What about plastic cups that you get from a drive-through? Can you think of another use for these? What can you do? What can you create? What can you make? Is there a way that you can reduce, reuse, and recycle and repurpose? Because the more that we're reusing the things that we already have, the less trash that we're going to make in our world. Because plastic and other types of materials that are similar to plastic, that are man-made, don't break down. They're not biodegradable, and they're bad for the environment in general, which means that they could affect things like the wildlife, like you saw with the goat in this story. Think about the fish in the ocean. Think about all the animals that live out and around us. And we as human beings, we need to take good care of our planet. We get one. So my challenge to you is, what can you use? What can you find? Get creative. Think outside the box. Come back. Show me. Take pictures or take a video and send it back to our class. What is it that you have created? Share it with all of us. And how could it be useful? Is there a way you can improve upon it? Sometimes it takes more than one try to figure out what it is that you're trying to achieve. But let's see what we can come to do, and together. It takes one person, but 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1, we multiply that, it's going to make a difference. Every little bit helps. This is Healthy Focus with Mrs. Bolokas. Thank you.